Okay guys, Monarch here, another Malifaux battle report for you. I'd had a pretty crappy day, so off I toddled to my friend's house for some ham and Malifaux. A recipe sure to cheer anybody up. So this game I wanted to play Vasilisa. And what's more, I realised I tend to play Collodi a bit like a damage master. Which is fun, and don't get me wrong, he can do it. But I wanted to try using him in more of a support role. So I decided to make the theme of my crew armour, and try to play Collodi. The strat, scheme and deployment are pretty interesting in this game, but I've built my crew for my themes rather than for achieving the objectives particularly. So here we go, terrain, we've got some buildings, this one you can go inside, some fences, some walkways and you can climb up the sides of them, and some severe terrain. These little orange markers and these cards are just marking out the flank deployment zones. So what has Cog got? He's got Sonnia, just the person I want to beat on to balance my humours. She's lurking back here, and has brought the Mask, Counterspell Aura, and Reincarnation. Next to her is Nurse Heartsbane, and a Austringer. Over to the left we have a Witchling Stalker, an Orderly, and Dr. Grimwell, with Research Grant and Disrupt Magic. I think there must be the final Orderly around here somewhere. So it's an interesting list, and my friend told me that his plan was to use his Orderlies, which are pretty quick for guild, to run out and do the scheme running whilst Sonnia and the Austringer covered them, and Grimwell would lead the charge to blunt my attempts to drop my scheme markers on the side of the table where my deployment zone is closest to his side of the table. The risk that I've taken Murder Protege be damned. So who have I got? I've got a Coryphée, Vasilisa with a friend to talk to. There she is. And she goes for a right old natter this game. Marionette, Brutal Effigy, Collodi, with Fated, Threads of Fate, and Strum the Threads. Second Coryphée, Lucky Effigy, Woldgeist. The plan was to have a big bubble of armour and healing around Collodi, but now Sonnia's in play, with Murder Protege declared and Assassinate in the scheme pool no less. That would be suicide. So we've got two teams bravely hidden behind the buildings. Was a bit worried about these windows, I'm not going to lie. Collodi's team is going to bog things down on the near board side, give out Distract so the main guild force can't score the strategy without me scoring points, and basically draw lots of attention and grind. Team 2 is led by Vasilisa, and she's going to whip around the side with her friends and do the main strategy scoring. At some point I'm going to try to get a Marionette in base-to-base with Sonnia, but I'll have to wait for an opportunity. So there we go, that's what's happening. And I'm going to warn you, I don't think I played very well, so this wasn't a particularly elegant game. But keep an eye on Vasilisa, because I think this game is quite demonstrative of her movement prowess. Turn 1. Ah well, it's only turn 1, who needs cards? I could be wrong, but I think my opponent wins the initiative and makes me go first. And I just start shuffling Collodi's team around to the corner of the house. I waste some activations, just moving my marionettes back to the board edge, because I see absolutely no reason to run out into the middle and give Sonnia target practice. Cog moves up super aggressively with his Witchlings and what they call Orderlies and Mr. Grimwell. Dr. Grimwell. And I think that's just awesome for me. So I move the Coryphée out as a worm to bait Sonnia into coming over this way. I don't really want her over here, but if she does, then she's going to take a hell of a long time to get back into position to help out her chums over here. So I think it's worth it. It might have been Cog's plan all along, but in the end, Nurse Heartsbane, an Orderly, and Sonnia move up round to here, and then Vasilisa walks out and drags the Coryphée back again. Collodi takes the opportunity to go fast. He slows Dr. Grimwell, who is here, and then kills the Orderly who was here. I used my zero action to creep instead of personal puppeting, to make sure I was in range with as many attacks as possible. And there I go playing the Damage Master again. I should mention that the cards I flipped were absolutely phenomenal, it was all characters. And that really helped. And at the end of the turn things looked like this. Turn 2, an okay hand. And I think it's probably worth mentioning that Cog was having the worst card draws he's ever had this game, so bear that in mind as well. Guild gets the initiative. Dr. Grimwell nimbles and attacks Collodi, who runs away home, after the Doctor misses his swing. The Brutal goes, he walks up, gives Collodi Finot the sword, and then probably shoots Grimwell, I can't remember if he did anything. Collodi accomplices, goes fast, slows both the Witchling Stalkers, and gets idle hands on Dr. Grimwell. I chose to creep into position rather than personal puppeting again this turn. It was just so tempting to get those hits in. And yeah, zero use of the armour ability. The Coryphée takes damage and 2 burning from the Witchling's shots, which forces Lucky to run up and put out one of the burnings with his cape, which is annoying as he's a bit out of position now to help Collodi with his buffs. I waste some activations by moving my marionettes around. Nurse Heartsbane gets up to around here, I think. One of the orderlies makes it out into my side of the table just. The Austringer gets lured out of its cover. He got frustrated that he couldn't hit anything and was moving to get into range. Big mistake, my friend. And the Burning Coryphée runs up to stand next to the Witchling Stalker for some distracting next turn. At this point I should mention that last turn Sonnia moved up to around here, and the wheels are turning in my mind as I realise just what I can do with Vasilisa at this point. Sonnia climbs up onto the scaffold and, in absence of anything else to do, drops the first, whatever it's called, marker, stake a claim marker. And this prompts Vasilisa into action. This marionette dragged along her over here when it pushed up, and so she now double walks around to here, bringing the Coryphée with it, and then uses her twist action to make it run to where you see there. The Coryphée then uses both of its actions to drop the claim marker and tie the strategy this turn. So the new plan is to get this marionette in base to base with Sonnia. It will die and leave a scrap marker. And you'll remember, if you read the starting slides to this video, that I've taken Take Prisoner on Sonnia. Vasilisa is going to move around here, and then she's going to take Collodi all the way across the other side of the map to where he can summon another marionette from that scheme marker at the end of the game and score. Given that my opponent's got Murder Protégé and I'm pretty sure Assassinate, running Collodi and Vasilisa hand in hand towards Sonnia is probably a bit stupid, but I want to see if I can do it, and hopefully the marionette will hold out just long enough. Let's see if it works. We go into turn 3 and hoo baby! That has got to be the best card hand I have ever had. On top of that, I win the initiative, charge the Coryphée and kill the Austringer. Cog learns a valuable lesson, and then I push under the bridge to try to keep her safe from Sonnia's reprimand. Cog drops a claim marker over here. I think he was waiting to see what I would do. I distract this Witchling Stalker and run away with the Coryphée. This Witchling Stalker tries to remove it slow and fails. Vasilisa decides to get out of the open. She moves into the house, picks up the Lucky Effigy, moves out here and twists him. Gonna admit, it's been a couple of days and I'm not quite remembering what Grimwell was doing so clearly. Basically, at some point I idle-handed him and got him to run away over here and whatever. The previous turn, the tree gave him a distract, and I'm pretty certain he's slow again this turn for whatever reason. We'll come back to him. Sonnia needs to vent some steam and kills my Coryphée, then moves up to try to get line of sight on the action. This is where Dr. Grimwell made a break for it. He slipped past the tree and got into the building, but the tree pursued, dropped its forests and hit Dr. Grimwell for a slow. He's pretty low on health now and has drained quite a lot of soul stones out of my opponent's cache, so I need to be careful not to kill him too soon before I've scored enough distracts off him. One of my marionettes has run out to the midfield. The other marionette has concealed itself under the bridge, and Sonnia suspects nothing. The Lucky Effigy dropped a claim marker, the Brutal Effigy moved up. Obviously fear not the Swording Collodi. I Red Joker damage the non-distracted Witchling with Collodi. Finally Personal Puppet the Brutal Effigy, because he's going to need to keep up. Move up and then climb onto Vasilisa's back and whip her with my pimp strings up to here. We're coming for you, Sonnia. Bit of a lackluster hand this turn, but you should see my opponent's. Now, if I'm getting this right, my opponent won the initiative and moved his orderly over here to tie down my marionette, and that's fine with me. So my creepy marionette climbs up the ramp and then gets into base-to-base with Sonnia. She'll have to waste at least 2 actions just to kill it and won't be able to fireball my rather valuable models. But the sneaky Witchling charges Collodi and does some considerable damage, which I think I do Soulstone. And then I run away from him. But that was just really rude. I move the Lucky Effigy to where he can score another claim marker next turn. Nurse Heartbane runs to Sonnia's rescue, and between the two of them they kill my marionette, and Sonnia walks back closer towards the end of the board with her last action. And I'm delighted where that scrap marker is placed. Dr. Grimwell gave the Wildgeist the slip again, and moved around to here. The tree moved to follow. I didn't run it through the house because even though at the beginning of the game we'd established that even though 40mm bases can't fit through these doors, that they would be allowed to, at this point in the game we've kind of gone back to thinking maybe they shouldn't be, and so the tree has to slog it around the building. The marionettes distracted the orderly, the Brutal Effigies run up and given Collodi feeling up the sword. Vasilisa has run the pair of them off the gangway and down there. She then twisted the Brutal Effigy to take a shot at the Witchling Stalker, and wouldn't you know, he hit it. causing the drafted things to explode and good riddance. Collodi probably did some attacking of this orderly, and then got Vasilisa to bring them nice and snug under the gangway again. The Coryphy has dropped another claim marker over here. So at the end of the turn I have 3 markers to my opponent's 2, and some more distracts. We go into the next turn, hand back down to kind of average. I get the initiative, the brutal effigy goes, gives Collodi Fear Not the sword, takes some pot shots, probably at Nurse Heartbane or something, that doesn't do anything. Oh no, I'm wrong, he gave her slow. How happy. Collodi accomplices, he moves out here, he raises the marionette, spending a soulstone, bubbles off armour on everybody, idle hands and slows the orderly to get some health back because he was running a bit low, and then pushes back under the bridge. She may be slow, but Nurse Heartbane can still get 2 attack actions with her push and trigger, but ever so fortunately she doesn't kill the marionette. Oh, she also made it so that it couldn't attack, so it can't do anything this turn, pretty much. Dr. Grimwell's moved up and dropped a claim marker, evaporating my own. The marionettes moved to tie them both up, which was a bit silly, because the tree also did that with its gigantic 4-inch range, thanks to those forests. Lucky's dropped his own claim marker. Vasilisa's dropped a claim marker. And Sonnia's given my marionette the slip, dropped down below, taking a damage, and fucking unloading on Collodi and Vasilisa, who are hidden snugly next to each other. I managed to stop her getting a blast off with the first shot and run away home over here. The idea was to use the next shot to move into combat with her, so that she'd had to stop using that frickin' Inferno attack, whatever it is. But I flipped the Black Joker, allowing her to severe damage, blast onto Vasilisa, who thank goodness had armour. So now Collodi's in a bit of a sorry state, and the initiative's going to be kind of important next turn. The gold Coryphy decided it was more important to ensure take prisoner than drop another claim marker for another point, and so hightailed it over here. Forgot to take a picture of my hand for the last turn, but you'll all be happy to know that I won the initiative, and played it like a bit of a dum-dum. The brutal effigy went, ran over here to engage Sonnia, and accomplished the Coryphy to join him. Whereupon Dr. Grimwell showed his asylum training by once more giving the marionettist the slip, nimbling out and then charging Collodi. This guy can hit like a truck, so I was pretty scared. Can't believe I did not see that coming. Fortunately I get away with minimum damage and a soulstone, pushing away from the next attack. And just to show you how bad my opponent's luck is, that's his hand this turn. He cheated one in to help Grimwell hit, and I can promise you it wasn't a high one either. Just what the hell is going on with his deck? I'm going to have to shuffle this next time. Oh, maybe I couldn't get away from the second attack, and he flipped the Black Joker for damage. Like, just seriously. The guy can't catch a break. So, because Grimwell's been healing himself, Collodi beats him and the orderly into the ground, guzzling up that health. And have I drawn a card all game for killing models? No. Need to start remember doing that. Ah, I had to kill the brutal effigy to stop Collodi dying, so that's where he's gone. Sonnia runs around the Coryphy, attacks Vasilisa, who gets her trigger to run away home, and doesn't take any damage. Where-hey! And I'm pretty sure Sonnia can't hurt the Coryphy either, so yep, that went well. But then, oh my goodness, Nurse Heartbane breaks away from the marionette with the red joker, flings herself off the gangway. Vasilisa's got 2 damage left. If I could just run away home, I could save her. I Black Joker. And with my opponent's luck with the cards this game, that's totally 100% fair. But come on! And so with that, we call the game. Really fun, bucked me up, but I'm a bit disappointed I didn't get to play the Collodi armour crew like I wanted to. But it just would have been a really short game if I'd tried it. So it was back to using Collodi like a beat stick, and it works out pretty well this game. But mostly because my opponent made, in my opinion, some positioning mistakes and had dreadful cards. I don't feel I played well, I certainly think I messed up the activation orders sometimes. But it was great to see Vasilisa moving around the board, you know, doing laps with the Collodi next to her. It's truly disgusting the amount of movement you can get out of her. But she's just so fragile. And I still don't think she's worth the 11 soulstones you have to pay for her. That unbelievable speed is fantastic, and it's good to balance it with low survivability, but if you're a good player, you really probably don't need that much speed. So yeah, I still don't think she's particularly viable in any but the most select scheme pools. But I still love playing her, so I'm sure she'll be back. Anyway guys, that was the game. Cog scored 3 points for Murdered Protégé. I scored 3 points for Distract, 3 points for Take Prisoner, thanks to the Coryphy, and 2 points for Stake a Claim for a total of 8 points. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.